Hello, it's Becca and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a plan with me. So basically, I'm just going to be showing you how I set up a month in my bullet journal, and of course, I'm going to be showing you guys February, so hopefully you guys can get some inspiration if you're setting up your bullet journal for next month as well. And for this month, I decided to go with a floral spread, which I usually do because I love flowers, but I decided to do roses instead and kind of do like a pink and red theme because of course it's Valentine's Day, the month of love, so I wanted to focus on that in my spreads. And so for this cover page, I'm just creating a little laurel, which I was inspired by a picture I saw on Pinterest, so I'll leave that in the description box below if you want to check out that picture. And I'll also include information on all of the supplies I'm using if you want to get any of the same things or know what I'm using. So yeah, I'm just taking my Mildliners and I made some pink circles and then some green kind of heart-shaped leaves around that. And then I'm just going in with a black pen and outlining all of that, and yeah. And so when I'm doing that, I kind of like to make it a little messy. I don't perfectly try to outline all of the shapes. I just kind of do it in a similar shape, if that makes sense. So it comes out a little bit messy, but that's the way I like it. And then to draw the roses, I just draw a little swirl in the center and connect it to itself, if that makes sense. Like kind of that snake game you would play on the computer when you were a kid. You have to like bite the tail, which you're not supposed to do in the game, but you should do it when you're doing this. And then I just draw some little petals that get into bigger petals. Pretty self-explanatory. You'll see me do on a couple of the pages if you don't quite understand what I'm saying. And then in the center of this, I just wrote February in cursive. This is just my normal cursive. I didn't try to do anything fancy. I did forget the U, so it looks a little bit ratchet, but please excuse that. And then I just added a heart. And if you're wondering why my phone is on my bullet journal, I was using it as a paperweight. I'm not using a super high quality bullet journal right now, so the book doesn't really lay flat, so I just use my phone sometimes. And then on the next page, I decided to do something kind of similar to a gratitude log, which I like to do in my November spreads. This was a love log, I guess you could say. So the idea is that every day of the month, I would write down something I love, whether it's something about myself, something about my life. I know some people don't like Valentine's Day in February because it can seem very romantic, but with this, you can just write down anything in your life whatsoever that you are loving, and I think it's just a great way to encourage some positive thinking. And then at the bottom, I just drew some more roses, and I wrote "Let Love In" because I think it's just a good reminder to be receptive to love and other positive things in the world. And then I added a few hearts because I had some empty space, and I just thought they would be cute, and of course, I filled that in with my pink Mildliner again. Also, I'm really sorry my head is in the frame. This was my first time filming a plan with me, so it was a little bit difficult, but I promise I'll do better next time. So then onto the next page. This is my monthly calendar. I always do one of these in like a calendar form, not like a month at a glance. I know some people like. So I'm just taking a pen and outlining boxes for every day of the week, so 5 rows, 7 columns. To make a full month, and this is a little bit tedious since I have spaces in between each box, but if you want to do this quicker, you could just have it like a normal calendar, so the lines would be shared with the next day, if that makes sense. But I really like the way this face looks. I think it just looks a little bit nicer, and it takes up a little more space as well. And then of course I just took my pen and I did that the other way as well, so that they're full boxes. And then I'm taking a gray pen and using my calendar on my phone. I'm just going in and writing the days of the weeks at the top of each column, and then I'm writing in the date for each day as well. Again, really self-explanatory, that's how you make a calendar. But the way I like to use this spread is I fill it in with kind of not everyday things, so not like my normal class schedule, but with like rehearsals and meetings and different things like that going on. And then sometimes in pencil, I kind of write my homework just so I can plan out when I'm going to do everything. But I do that in pencil so I can move it around. And then as you can see on the left-hand side, I'm just writing out February with a Mildliner, and I made the left sides thicker, which is why you can see me alternating the pen because one side of the pen is thicker than the other. And then at the bottom, I'm writing down the quarter of the year and the weeks of the year, so that's why I flipped back to January just to check. And basically, I split the year into 4 quarters, and I like to think about how many weeks there is as well. It just helps with keeping up with my resolution so I can see how far in the year I've gotten and how much work I have to do on my resolutions. So that's a little tip. If you are not good at resolutions, it's good to keep track of how much of the year you have left. And then I'm just writing 2019 in the same style as I wrote February. with my pen again. And then, of course, I added a little flower just to take up some space. So again, I'm using my Mildliners and then doing that same pattern with the black pen on top. And then I'm just taking the pencil and erasing any pencil marks left over from when I sketched this out. This really just cleans everything up, makes it look a lot nicer. And one thing I like about the Stabilo pens is they don't smudge when you do this, so I would definitely recommend those. As you can see, I'm using one of those pens again to make a habit tracker. I like to make my habit trackers monthly, not weekly, which I know some people like to do, but I think I just prefer to see a whole month at once. So yeah, I'm just filling it in with a note from my phone with all the habits I wanted to track. So that's my skincare routine, flossing, if I wore makeup, if I drank enough water, slept enough, meditated, journaled, listened to podcasts, listened to music, read, if I was social, if I stretched, if I worked on any homework, if I cleaned, and if I worked on YouTube. So that's all the habits I like to track, just to make sure I'm doing these things on a regular basis. And then you can see I just wrote the days of the month up at the top. And then I created a little task box. So this is This is my monthly to-do list, and I like to make a monthly one as well as put that on my weekly spreads, because I find that I can write down kind of long-term things. I don't have a due date, but I want to get done soon in my monthly one. And then each week, if I have free time, I can transfer some of those monthly to-dos to my weekly to-do. That was a mouthful. And then I also, if there's a short week at the beginning or the end of the month, I do like to include it with that month. So yes, I could have put these 3 days with the January spread, but I like to just give them their own separate page with the February ones. So yeah, this is kind of a modified weekly spread. You'll see my full weekly spread on the other page where I'll explain it much better for you guys. But just to start off, as you can see, I like to do horizontal boxes, and then I just write in the day of the week and the date. And then I like to split those boxes in half. So basically the left-hand side would be for school to-dos, and the right-hand side would be for personal. So for example, on the left side, I would write when I have work and what homework I'm going to work on that day. And on the right-hand side, I would put if I need to clean my room, if I'm going to do yoga that day, what I'm going to film, that kind of thing. So as you can see, now we're on the full weekly spread. So I created 4 boxes on the left page for Monday through Thursday, and then those same Friday, Saturday, and Sunday ones. And I'm just going through the exact same process of outlining the boxes. Some of them are a little bit crooked, please ignore that. Like I said, I was filming on my floor, so a little difficult to do this. And then I'm just taking my green highlighter and putting in a little homework tracker. So you saw this on the other side, but basically that small little column, I put a little circle for me to check it off. In that small-ish column, I like to write the date, and then in the big spot, I put the name of the assignment, and then the small spot to the left, I write the class it's for. And if you want to see me like any of these filled in, I can definitely do that on like my Instagram or something. I have a whole highlight story for posting bullet journal spreads. Then up at the top, I just wrote February, the quarter and week of the year again, and a little flower. And then I added my little weekly to-do spot that I was telling you guys about. And that's a weekly spread. Of course, I'm just going through and erasing everything. And then here's a little flip through of everything. I just added a couple more hearts to this page just to tie it all in together. And that is all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. You can also find my other social media and stuff in the description box with lots of information. And have a good day.